All right, you're welcome back. We're going to look at the front page now and all the news that's caught our attention in the past week. Besides sports, I know sports has been on everybody's mind because of the Olympics, but Nigeria being Nigeria, of course, you know a lot has been happening. And I have here with me Tokunbo Adelibigbe, who will be helping me look at the week that was. Thanks for being here today.
Well, thank you very much.
Now let's start, of course, with Boko Haram and the video that was released early in the week showing the allegedly Chibok girls speaking about the fact that, you know, some of them were still alive. We did hear some of them had died as a result of airstrikes. And it was quite an emotional video to watch. Many people have said, oh, is it properly verified? Some parents have come up and said, oh, I identify my daughter. What was your take on that?
My take on that is very, very sad, I must confess as well. While watching the video, I felt emotional myself. However, I noticed what was people's disposition on social media as regards the release of this video. I'll tell people not to jump the gun, because I believe for a war against insurgency as such, one of the most important things we need to put into consideration is that there needs to be a lot of intelligence gathering, with the government of the day is not failing at. So we should just allow this war against terrorism take its natural course. We shouldn't preempt things. We shouldn't, because I know just last week as well, they actually came up with some talks of negotiation here and there, and if negotiation is right. So all I just suggest is that we shouldn't try as much as possible to jump the gun. We should try and let things take its natural course. At least with that, we can now know if it's something we can now say, oh, are we in a right step towards getting the Chibok girls back, or they're going to be gone forever?
Shouldn't we be worried that Boko Haram is still organized enough to be able to shoot such videos and release them without us knowing where they are?
It's quite sad as well. When I watched one of their videos and I saw the graphics, I was just telling someone about the graphics and the video editing that goes into it. That's to tell you that this whole concept of terrorism, we need to understand that it's not a Nigerian problem. No doubt, you know, from that video, something just keeps telling me that ISIS as it is, probably maybe there's some sort of collaboration with the likes of ISIS. And so what I'm just looking at is that in as much as they are shooting videos of great quality like that, however, we've seen gains in a couple of weeks. We've seen gains here and there. We've seen Nigerian actually gaining maybe discussions here and there. So that's a good thing. So we shouldn't be really, really worried as such, because even in developed countries, they still wage attacks and all. So I just think it's something that, since the governments of the day, they've actually shown the willpower towards combating such problem, we should just encourage them as much as possible, and not people throwing darts at the intelligence gathering of the Nigerian army that's taking place.
All right, we're going to take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll look more, of course, at the Boko Haram situation up north, and of course, all of the other news that caught our attention in the past week. We'll see you in a moment. All right, welcome back. We're looking at the front page, all of the news that caught our attention in the past week. Tokunbo Adelibigbe is here with me. We're talking about Boko Haram before the break and the video that was released. But in other Boko Haram news, of course, like you said, the federal government has done quite a bit. We are not hearing of territories being claimed anymore. We're not hearing of, you know, bombings on a daily basis. But we're still hearing of killings. We did hear about a village in Borno being invaded last week, about 7 people killed. So there's still those sporadic attacks happening.
Yeah, for sporadic attacks like that are happening. I remember the last time I shared something on this. I was like, government should try as much as possible to expedite actions, whatever actions they are taking in that regard. And I think that's my call once again for them. In as much as the economy is very, very important, in as much as the war on corruption is very important, we need to take the war against this, what do I call them, these Boko Haram militants, these Boko Haram vandals as well. We need to take it like very, very important as well. Yeah. We need to try as much as possible. Although in the war, you know, the terrorism war and all, you see them coming up with attacks like that, at least to still be able to tell you that they still belong somewhere and all. But I think government should actually try as much as possible to expedite.
I mean, Boko Haram was very hard to negotiate with, even though we know that government has tried a few. The last government did try. This government has also mentioned that they may be looking at that option as well. But one that seems to have worked is with the Niger Delta Avengers. We saw in the news this morning that they have called for a ceasefire to attack some pipelines and all of the other things that have been happening in the Niger Delta. most people are excited at that news, of course, because the Niger Delta Avengers have been the most potent of all the groups that have come out in Niger Delta since this present administration. But it doesn't mean that other organizations are not there. Does this mean the Niger Delta is safe again? Does it mean our oil production is safe? Or are we supposed to negotiate with every single group that pops their head in that region?
I think for the Niger Delta, I suggest that we should actually take their ceasefire as with a pinch of, maybe just take it with a pinch of salt or dirty, because looking at Niger Delta, they still came up with the fact that if their ceasefire is taken for granted, that maybe they'll still resume with the onslaught and all. And I'm looking at that is treasonable felony, looking at it from the legal point of view. So how long do we continue with this? So are you telling me that, so the government of the day, in as much as they can use this period of time to maybe ceasefire, look at what their demands are, they should as much as possible also try intelligence gathering. I think that's very, very important. And also one of the things I would like to suggest is that for the government, it's very, very important for them right now to come up with a war room kind of strategy. So war room kind of strategy now, apart from the fact that they give federalism, like true federalism, where state policing is actually giving high regard, apart from that, strategy as regards involving the private organizations. I know private organizations will do a whole lot in the policing of the country and its territories. Yeah. So I think that is very, very important. So I suggest, I advocate for a war room strategy that is going to bring out all of that.
All right, let's leave security now, the lack of it, and move on to news that was quite bizarre during the week, which probably also borders on security. A man we did find out who named his dog after Mr. President was arrested and released and rearrested. And first of all, it sounded very weird to a lot of people that you'll be arrested because of the name of your dog. I mean, it's not a crime to name your dog whatever it is you wish to name it. People said, but according to the security operatives, it might stoke anger in some parts of the country when they hear things like that. Do you agree with that?
I totally disagree with that. Even when I went to read the story back and see what exactly is the basis of this arrest and all, and I saw the main issue is that the guy naming the dog after Buhari, but the Buhari is naming one of his neighbors. The neighbor's father actually bears Buhari and all. So I'm looking at it, he's not even looking at it from the context of the president or the neighbor. So I'm not looking at it that the Nigerian police, there's a lot they can actually do. That is too pedestrian for you to arrest someone because they named their dog after this. It's a difference in if you name this dog, maybe he named it after maybe a pig or dairy-ball, because you know that's quite sensitive, and some parts of the country, maybe they have all those things, we cherish them values and all. But in as much, I think naming your dog, that shouldn't warrant for like an arrest.
Yeah. But they arrested him then, I mean, he was released and he got rearrested again, which means someone is obviously very angry and he might end up, if he ends up in jail for this, I mean, what does this say? What does this say about it? It's quite bizarre for a lot of people.
No, it's very, very sad. We shouldn't be talking about issues like that in the 21st century. Yeah. It's very, very sad.
So how do you even fight a case like that if you were the lawyer to this man? How do you even handle a situation like that?
I don't even know I don't even know where to even classify that as, if that is human rights or freedom of naming. I don't even know what else to call that, because it's very, very sad. It's very, very sad.
All right, let's wrap up things now with sports. I'm sure you've been following the Olympics like every single Nigerian. Yeah. Anybody who doesn't love sports has probably had a hard time in the last 2 weeks, because that's all that's been on everybody's televisions, you know. Yeah. Following the Olympics, watching the exploits of some of the greatest athletes around the world. And of course, Nigeria being a part of the party or not necessarily a part of the party in the medals region until last night, of course, when the under-23 team won bronze in football. It's been a very sad build-up to the Olympics, with all the drama with the Ministry of Sports and everything. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts. You know what? I did a comparison within how many golds we had in 1996 compared to 2016. And I saw in 1996 we had a total of 6 medals consisting of 2 gold medals and all. And I now found out that countries there like Great Britain and the likes of Kenya and Ethiopia, they were actually like maybe in the same rung of the ladder with us. And I'm looking at it that, where did they get it all wrong? Is that as a result of the policy of what the country, that's to tell you that things are really, really bad. Yeah. However, there's more to all this than grandstanding and coming up with by 2020 we are going to win all those medals by 2024. I think right now we need to like come up with a systematic approach towards this. We should actually treat systems. We should look at putting, so that's the way we should go about it, not fake promises or empty promises.
Thank you very much, Tokumbo. I'm sure Nigerians will agree with you, but thanks for being here today. Well, like I always say, you can follow the conversation on Twitter at YNigerTV is the handle. The hashtag to follow is Rubbin Mind. You can also visit the website YNiger.tv. Remember, you've never seen young people talk like this before. I'll see you next week.
Just